Get over there! Get over there! See, when your work becomes as automatic as it is breaking off that mound, enjoying everything, that's when you become a real good ball player. When you do things so much that you do it by instinct rather than stopping and thinking about it. And, because most of the plays that come up in baseball are so quick and so fast, you don't have time to think about it. It has to be done by instinct. You do it just by things happening that fall in place. Get him out, throw now.
This is Harry Walker, manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, the most colorful of the colorful Pirates. Just a little over 1,000 miles from Pittsburgh via United Airlines Sunbird, the airline chosen by the Pirates for their team travel, is the Florida city of Fort Myers, winter home of the Pittsburgh Pirates. It was also the winter home of Thomas Edison, who developed the light bulb here. Now, everyone's attention in Fort Myers is focused on this ballpark.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nick Perry, walking right where the Bucks are reborn each year, Terry Park in Fort Myers, Florida. In the few remaining weeks of the spring training season, manager Harry Walker and his coaches will mold their Pittsburgh Pirates into pennant contenders. Let's watch.
Up, oh, ho, hey, oh, up, oh, hey, oh, up, oh, hey, oh.
Conditioning is the first step on the road to a pennant. Men like Vernon Law, Bob Peel, and Willie Stargell must stay healthy if the Bucks are to go all the way. Two of the men responsible for keeping the team in top physical condition are team physician Dr. Joseph Feingold and team surgeon Dr. Albert Ferguson.
I understand Willie Stargell came in a little overweight, though.
Yeah,
huh?
Willie came in weighing 222. His best weighing weight's 210. We've got about 12 pounds to take off, and he's been very slow about taking it off. We've been trying various dietary things, but Willie says he doesn't need very much, and I don't believe him.
Oh, he's a big frame boy. I mean, he come right down to it, didn't he? Huh?
He needs a lot of food. Now,
Yeah.
he can put away 2 steaks without any problem.
What do you think the best way is to take somebody down like that who's still got to put out a lot of energy every day?
He's got to stay away from as much of the candy, cake, pastry, and ice cream and things like that he likes.
Yeah.
These are things that he likes. But he's finally coming around to our way of thinking. Both Joe Brown and Harry Walker have talked to him, and he's now limiting his diet to tomato juice, steaks that are broiled. He's staying away from all the carbonated drinks. I think we'll get him down.
Well, you couldn't ask for a more dedicated guy.
He
Really,
certainly is.
He'll do it if anything.
He's trying hard and coming around the way we want him to come. He's already down to 218.
Yeah.
I think he'll be coming down as we go.
Now, come back, Mr. Pagliarone. Tag up. Don't forget, early in the season, learn to tag up after all foul balls. That's the baby. Did he? Throw you a good
The
change?
tall, thin man in the Bermuda short behind first base is not an umpire. He is the voice of the Pittsburgh Pirates, Bob Prince. Bob is getting ready for another season of broadcasting. I had the opportunity to speak with Bob.
Bob, as the voice of the colorful Pirates, how beneficial is it for you to be here at spring training?
Nick, there's always a rusty period of time that sets in after you've left a full season of baseball, and you're off for several months. You come down to spring training, you've got to tune your mind into the aspects of baseball. You got to know the players all over again. Then you have to know a little bit about the newer players coming in. You want to find out more about them. In addition to which, I don't think many people realize that radio announcers, television announcers in baseball must also do a lot to get in shape. The season is a tough one. We're older than the athletes, but we have the mental strain of trying to broadcast a game. And when we put on top of that some 40, 50,000 miles of travel, getting down to maybe one meal a day, trying to work when we're very tired out, our bodies and minds must be pretty tuned up. So spring training in that respect is extremely important. In addition to that, we also have the opportunity to get to meet and know the wives, the children of the ball players, because we like to be able to relate to the fans listening in all that's necessary about the family life of the ball player himself. So we get to meet the families and everything and really get ready to go. What do you say we meet some of those families right now?
You know, baseball spring training camps are mighty important to the players, but I would also have to believe it's a very important time of the year in the lives of the families of the baseball players because, as you know, or if you don't, I'll tell you now, baseball players' wives are not allowed to travel with them during the regular season. So the wives and their children take full advantage whenever possible of the spring training time so that they may be with their husbands before the start of the season. Benita Law and Deanna Clendenin are two very wonderful examples of being here in spring training with their husbands. Both have known adversity. Both have seen their husbands come home in utter shock from defeat. And Benita, I suppose at times it's difficult for you to handle the children when Vernon has lost a tough game.
Well, he's very even-tempered, as you know, but I do try to keep them calm.
And he, of course, I'm sure, due to his temperament, is pretty much of a family man anyhow and realizes what's to be is to be.
That's very true. He surely is, and he doesn't ever take it out on any of us.
Well, Deanna Clendenin, you married an established Major League star in Don Clendenin. You have yet to know what it's like to be the wife of a ball player in the minor leagues, but I know that you, too, have seen him under times of adversity.
Yes, I have.
What do you do when he comes home, or what does he do when he's lost the tough game he made the error that cost us the contest?
Well, sometimes he just doesn't say anything at all, so I don't say anything either.
Get your back.
Rex Bowen, director of scouting for the Pirates, gives these tips on sliding to Don Clendenin and Manny Moda.
But the point that I was going to trying to make was that you could slide with your hands up in the air. You can get a fade without throwing your body clear to one side. See? And you're not going to jam your hands and your elbows and everything else. Now you got to come like Barry Dickens. On this way, all right? I'll move it over here a little bit. Come hard. Now just let her go on your back. All right. See? Now, if you tuck this one over a little bit more and tag with this one, see? You'd be right, but that wasn't bad slide. That's right. That's what we had to work on. Now take off on the hard ground and forget about the bag. Now get back. Get back. All right. Except that this foot hit first. You let the foot hit first instead of getting back. Letting your butt hit first. Yeah, that was great. As far as form is concerned. Now don't leap and come in just full speed. Now get on your back. All right, that's better. All right. Now get on your back, way back. All right. But you see, if you'd have gotten way back, you could have lifted this arm up and not hit your elbow. See? Do you have any trouble hurting your elbow? Well, if you can learn to slide in here, it's so much more difficult to slide in here than it is out there. Yeah, that's right. You're a champion out there if you slide good in here.
Pirate General Manager Joe L. Brown has daily meetings with his staff to keep abreast of the progress of the team.
I think things in the camp have been running real well. But maybe just to refresh your minds and also make sure we haven't missed anything. Have there been anything, any fundamentals, any team plays, for example, that you want to do that we haven't done so far?
Well, there's a couple of things, of course. We worked on our relay throws in the outfield, which we've done a little of, but we want to get a lot more work on that. And the same thing in base running. Tomorrow I thought we'd spend a bit of time on our base running, and also the rundown plays. We spent a little time with that, but you're going to need a lot more to get your timing down. So there's a lot of things yet. How about you, Alex? Is there anything that you can think of we should get back on?
Well, I agree with that type of thinking here. I think it is no way to do too much work on fundamentals, especially these rundown plays, which you run into every day in every ball game during the season. I think the more we perfect it here, the better off we'll be during the season.
Smitty, how about your catches? I know that Pag you've been working with, and then you've got May, and all these boys you spent some time with.
Well, we've had Jeff Gonder working each day down in the cage, shooting balls to him, kind of help him get quicker hands. And I think by doing that, he's been able to improve himself somewhat. And we hope that he'll be able to come around even more.
How about the pitching staff? Have you got into the things that you want to go over that, of course, most of it we've covered, but you probably want to review or bring some more things into it?
Well, I think what we did today, having the pitcher realize what spot he's supposed to be in on those rundowns, and then picking the man off first base here. And then I think maybe pretty soon we should start working on our pickoffs at first base and second base.
Well, you can't spend too much time with that. The fellow's got to learn to hit that man covering the bag at second. It's important, like you said, for the pitcher to learn what bag to go to. He becomes an infielder once in a while, and he has to practice it.
Now, Deacon, you're beginning to get a little sneaky for this early in the year.
Well, that was a mistake there.
Oh, what a mistake. You chopped through it. Hey, you got a good change going today. Huh?
Just the right speed.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear Lynch holler?
Yeah.
He went, ow, huh?
And it's important that we start off with the idea of what we want to do in bunting.
You
First
just
of all,
saw
try to
Vernon
get
Law get a hit bunting. Vernon is one of the best hitting pitchers in the National League. Yet even he listens to manager Harry Walker as he talks about the importance of bunting to Don Cardwell, Tommy Sisk, and Steve Black.
If you think in terms of a glove and not as a bat, I think it might help catch it. In other words, the fear of getting hit with a ball still is the thing that hurts a lot of guys in bunting. Last year, some of the guys with front back and friend especially with, you just see them, their body wanting to run this way and try to do this. Learn to do this.
Vernon, it looks like he might not be getting on top of that ball. I think this guy, Nixon, will be probably hitting the first pitch off of you, so let's try to keep the ball low and away from him.
Do you know anything about him?
I know he's a first ball hitter. That's about the only thing I know, Pag.
First ball hitter,
Yeah, I
not a
think
ball
this
hitter.
guy will be hitting the first pitch. I was just telling Vernon that maybe he ought to get a little more on top of that ball and keep that fastball low and away from him. Okay?
All right, left hand.
Yeah, got you. He's all right.
Come on, Vernon.
He's all right.
Hey, Helen, out here, let's go. Come on. Hey,
He should run through the middle.
where's this fellow here? All over.
If the Pirates are going to win the National League pennant this year, in addition to conditioning, they will also need good pitching to do it. The key to good pitching is a good pitching coach. Clyde Edward King is just that. He is considered one of the most capable pitching instructors in the game. After his major league pitching days ended, he had outstanding success as a minor league manager at Atlanta, Hollywood, Columbus, and Rochester.
What kind of a grip do you look for here with young Billy?
Well, Billy Knock uses a grip with the seams, we call, which is a grip for a fellow who has average-sized hands or smaller. And once in a while, a pitcher will start out to warm up, and his ball won't be doing right, and he'll switch to across the seams, which, of course, is not good. He hasn't been used to doing it, and it might throw his control off. And if as a pitching coach, I see him do that, I'll suggest to him that he go back to the other grip and take a few more minutes to warm up than he usually does till it starts to feel good to him. Now, I can show you the grip that I'm talking about, Bob. When Billy grips a fast ball, he grips it with the seams like this. You see the seams running this way, which makes the ball a little bit smaller to a pitcher, and he can grip it a little tighter, which makes the ball heavier. And when it goes, it'll have a little tail to it, into a right-hander and away from a left-handed hitter. Throw one, Billy, like that, and let us see it.
anytime the ball moves, he's got a better chance of getting the hitter out. And another thing, too, when he grips the ball that way and comes into the area where he releases it, this part of his wrist for a fastball is toward the hitter. Whereas on a curveball, it's this way, you see. And a lot of times when they're warming up, the wrist will be about half cocked, we call it, and the ball will go like that instead of going straight back.
Let's see him throw a couple of breaking balls.
Okay, curveball, Billy. Billy is one of our younger pitchers, and he's one of our better prospects, and he has 3 good pitches, Bob. He has a good fastball that moves, a curveball, and a changeup.
What's he change, on his curveball or his fastball?
On his fastball, on his straight change. Billy, let's just try it, just for the fun of it. Rip the ball this way, and let's see the difference in it. Now throw a straight ball across the seams, and let me know how that feels. We like to experiment with our young pitchers.
The ball seemed to move a little.
Yeah, just to, how'd that feel, Billy?
Pretty good, Clyde. Let me try that again.
Okay. We like to experiment with them, Bob, just to make sure that they know all the different angles to throw a ball, so then they can make up their mind themselves as to what grip is the best. Now do your old grip, Billy, and let's see how that looks. Well, I believe I like that one a little better. It seems to move a little bit more, and I know if you continue to throw it that way, when you're really good and warm, the ball will hop for you. The hitter's a big sucker. He keeps thinking you're stupid, you're going to make a mistake every time you throw. That's just the way he thinks. And yet in the big leagues, a pitcher that's pitching good will do it right 80% of the time. But most of the hitters assume you're going to make mistakes all the time. So they think, well, I'll hit this ball out of the ballpark, boy, because he might give me that ball inside. And if he's a good pitcher, he'll get that ball 90% of the time away from him. That's why it's easy to get those guys out at that particular time, if you've got control.
The young man Harry Walker was talking to is Tommy Butters. Tom recently retired from organized baseball. However, he still hoped to pitch when Bob Prince had this conversation with him.
A little over a year ago, Tom Butters, his wife Jill, and children were driving south to spring training here at Fort Myers when they were struck from behind by another vehicle. The injury to Tom Butters' neck was a painful one, but he still tried to pitch. This spring, he's down here on his own, attempting to make the ball club or remain somehow or other in organized baseball. Every time he gets up in the morning, he has a severe and intense headache. Every time he runs or he pitches in a ball game, he vomits. Why, Tom? Why do you try to do it?
Well, that's perhaps not as difficult as it may sound. I think any time you devote as much time to baseball or you to your profession, if it were suddenly taken from you, you'd probably want to do the same thing. I've given quite a bit of my life to baseball. It's been good to me, and I'd like very much to continue if at all possible. I don't want to go home and feel that I've been shortchanged or that I've shortchanged somebody else by not trying. So I've given it all I have, and if it doesn't work out, then at least I can have the satisfaction of knowing that I gave it all I had.
Tom Butters, tremendous desire, great ambition. We all hope it comes true. Harry, I know as a former Major League batting champion, you work a lot, too, with the players down here on batting. I wonder while Clemente's batting, if you'll just talk a little bit about his style and some of the things we can watch on camera.
Well, of course, one thing a lot of people are confused about, he steps a little bit towards left field with his front foot, but his weight is on the back foot when he starts. And then when he drives forward, he drives his weight off the back foot onto the front foot. And his back hip always goes with his hands. In other words, when the hands start here, his hip goes up there with it. This is why he drives the ball and stays on top of the ball. If he were to dip like this, he would hit a lot of fly balls. But when he comes forward, he gets up on top by bringing the back foot. See that back foot how it brings? And it makes a short stride. He finishes up with a stride about like this, rather than a big, long stride. And this is important, because that keeps him on top of the ball, and that's why he hits a lot of line drives.
Keeps his head still, too, doesn't he, Harry?
He watches the ball, and he's got great hands. The one thing, he'll be fooled on a ball, and he'll be like this, but his bat is always back to where he can throw the bat at the ball. This is one of the things that makes him a great hitter.
We've seen Harry Walker as a teacher. We have found him to be a firm believer in fundamentals and a man that works hard stressing them. However, Harry Walker, the colorful manager, comes to life during a game. Let's watch and listen to him in action during this exhibition game with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Where'd you think it is? Where'd you think it is? Ball's that far outside what you strike, you better be with it. The first pitch was right down the middle. You gotta be with it. Hey! Hold it there. Come on now. Do it again. See what he did with his bat? He took his bat and turned it right back. Hold it there. That's what we're trying to train. We're trying. Get way up there and I'll kill it. Relax on it. Come on. I see you jerked it back again. Hey, come on now. Give it to him again. Yeah. Ain't got nothing else to do. You give it to him.
Oh, Tommy.
Hey! Hold on. Come on, work on it. You're jerking it back every time. Don't worry about killing it. You get your hands up far enough and kill it, sir. There it is. See there? Perfect. That time he didn't jerk it back. Good play. That's what we've been working on. See, the first two times he jerked it back. Let's hold it. Ooh. Hey, come on, Matty. Turn the bat loose, boy. Come on. Taking a good strike. Come on, Matty. Drive him in. Hey, come on, Matty. Pick him up. Big run out there now. See what he's doing? I got to work on him. I know what he's doing now. Hey, here. He's letting his body, yeah, his hands, I mean, not his hands, but he's leaning out so far that he can wait just a little longer with his front foot. Where the foot, if he could keep his part back, he's letting this go forward. Keep the weight. Even though you go out, you keep your weight back and your hands back. You let your body lean way out here like that, and you just really slap it like that. Yeah, I got a little bit, so if anything's slow, he's out in front. Wait, stop. Yeah, well, he's got his body too far. It has nothing to do with it. Yeah, that's right. Because you're going out here like that, and you're just doing that. Just a little bit. When you go to the opposite field, you stay back. You hit the ball because you want to snap it. That's why those balls will change up. You're out here. You still got to try to hit that change up through the middle. Because they'll throw it to you and they're going to bounce that change up. You ought to get where you can just. But if you're letting, it looks like you're letting yourself go like this. You're leaning this much forward. Reach with that and keep this back. Yeah, well, your body is way forward like that. When you try to kind of hold this back to where you got something to pop with. Well, that was a quickie. Let's go. I didn't get my breath good. I'm tired, Coach. Give me a breather.
Well, there they are, the 1966 colorful Pittsburgh Pirates. We hope you know them a little better now than you did before. In just a few weeks, the 1966 baseball season will officially open. How effective will the Pittsburgh Pirate pitching staff be this year? And will the Pirates go the entire route without any major injuries to their key personnel? And will the Pittsburgh Pirates win the 1966 National League pennant as they did back in 1960? As you have seen, Harry Walker and his men are trying their best. They feel they will win. We hope they will. Only time will tell.
They say that Wilbur Darnell Stargell can hit a ball out of any park, including Yellowstone. And I don't think there's much doubt about that because he has hit some of the most prodigious baseball home runs ever seen anywhere in the game. For instance, he's hit them in the swimming pools in Parc Jarry in Montreal, over the Forbes Field roof 7 times in Pittsburgh, which has never been done too many times by anybody. Hit one out of Veterans Stadium, clean out of the exit, up in deep center field. He's done it about any place you can do it, into all parks and all sizes. Wilbur can crack them out of there. Well, now then, when you first reported to the big camp for the Pittsburgh Pirates, I believe you had a reason why you developed this famous propeller-type swing before they pitch. How did you develop that swing?
Well, the reason I twirl the bat, because if I stand here waiting for the pitcher to pitch, I have a tendency to lock all these muscles in here. My forearm, my wrist, my hands. And as a result, by the time the pitcher gets ready to pitch, I have all these things locked up, and it's going to slow my bat down and enable me to hit properly. So for me to be relaxed and in a position to hit, I have to twirl the bat to keep myself relaxed, and then be able to time it so that I can swing properly. And that's the way I've been able to hit, and it's probably the only way I can.
Do you ever have a tendency to have anybody try to quick pitch you while you're in the middle
Yeah,
of that?
but I can invariably time a pitcher from the on-deck circle.
Now they talk about the power in the wrist, the arms. You also feel that the muscles in your back have a lot to do with the power you generate.
I think that's the anchor to powerful hitters. Anybody with power has to have something that they can connect those powerful arms to. And it's like a spring action. One offsets the other. There's another way with a lot of times when guys want to take extra hitting, they just take a wide stride. And when the ball is thrown, the only thing they use is their hands.
That give you better back control?
Yeah. In order to hit that inside pitch, rather than take a very long stride, you try and shorten your stride, but at the same time, make sure your hands get through. And I'll try and demonstrate it by hitting the ball in left field.
Now, where, Wilbur, is the best place for you to hit a ball for power, and your best power? What's the best
My particular
location?
zone would be waist high out over the plate. That's the pitch that I know I can drive for distance, and that's the ball that I have been successful with over a period of years.
All right, let's try a couple of balls out over the plate, Rick, for driving for distance.
Somewhere in this area, Ted.
That's distance straight away, 408 feet.
That's what we said, good work. Yeah.
Let's take about 3 more whacks at it now, and really, to get the pitch you want, let's see if we can go for the downer.
Okay. The other time I hit the ball in the seats. Now I'm hitting the ball the way you're supposed to hit it.
Don't overtire yourself.
No, you never get tired of hitting.
Okay, well, that's enough, old buddy. You got a ball game tonight.
Okay, Bob.
I'll meet you in the, after you go into the locker room and get suited up, we'll meet you over to the dugout. I want to chat for a little while, okay?
Okay. Be out in a few minutes.
All right. That's an interesting thing to me, though. First time I've heard anybody really talk about back muscle twirl. Normally you hear somebody talking about the top hand, which hand has the power, and the forearms, and all those things dropping in. I think it's quite interesting that you bring the back muscles in. Now, Will, before we talk about home run hitting and all the other things about the career, let's go back a little bit early in your life. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing and the influence your mother, for instance, had on your early life.
Well, Bob, I was brought up in the projects in Alameda, California, which you have the environment where you identify with the pimps, the prostitution, the thugging, the mugging, the whole bit. I had a choice of being part of that, or I had a choice of pursuing sports, which for some reason always had something meaningful to me. I can recall the days when I used to go over on the railroad tracks, and at the foot of the railroad there was a lumber yard. I used to take 2x4s, and I would try and mend them into as close of some of a bat as I possibly could, and I'd take rocks and I'd constantly hit them. That was my form of batting practice. And I can also recall when I used to have a paper route where I used to have to deliver papers to the people in the projects, and I was so enthused about baseball that I would participate in the after-school games, and I think that was the turning point when my parents finally realized that I was concerned about baseball or sports more so than concerned myself with robbing, looting, and the things that a kid normally does in the projects.
Now, Wilbur, we'll jump ahead in time a little bit to the point where you've signed your first professional baseball contract, and you probably were about 5'10", weighed about 155 pounds, and then somewhere along the line when weight became a terrible problem with you, didn't it?
Yes, it did, and I can recall the winter of 1962. I had never weighed really over 210, and at that time I was about 6'1", maybe 6'2", and from then I proceeded that winter to go up to 242. And I reported spring training, and I think everybody, including myself, was surprised at the fact that I had really blown up that much. And for the next 4 years, I did have a real weight problem. But now I realize that it's just a matter of whether I want to eat myself out of the game or continue doing what I enjoy doing best, and that's playing the game.
We had some film of you. Normally when you hit the ball, you hit it out of the park and you can trot around the bases in all your majestic splendor, but occasionally you look like a 747 going back into first base without landing wheels. You recall a time, I'm sure, when you were picked off first base.
Yeah, I remember that. I was in Philadelphia, and Ken Brett was pitching, and he gave me a move, and hell, I wasn't that far off the bag, and he was able to pick me off, and when I was picked off and went back to the bench, of course, they love for me to do anything wrong, so they can just jump in my stuff. I know Gene Clarence come up with a remark that I look like a 747 coming back into first base without landing gear, and it just went on from there. But not many times I'm going to get the opportunity to get picked off because I'm not going to be noticeable that much, and really I'm built for comfort, not speed. So.
All right, well, that's a very good answer there. Now, we're talking about a 747. Will you ever fly in another airplane once you are finished with your baseball career?
Only if it's necessary. Believe me, Bob, I think I've put in enough miles playing the game at this particular stage that I know that I could get out of the seat and give someone else an opportunity to see what the skies are like.
Are you afraid of flying?
Yes. To be honest with you, I am afraid. And the thing is, I hate turbulence, and they said turbulence is really not something that you fear. It's before the takeoff and landing is the crucial stage of the flight.
There was one landing we tried to make at Cameron Bay in the middle of a monsoon that bothered you considerably, and I think that's really told us about all we had to know about flying right there.
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, when we did land in Cameron Bay, there was not one happier person nowhere on earth than me, because as you were well aware of the fact that the flight that we had, we felt sure that we weren't going to make that trip into Cameron. A lot of things flashed before me during the flight, and I'd almost vowed if I ever got out of this, I'd never get on another, but I knew it would just be something that I temporarily had to deal with, and I knew that if I was going to continue playing baseball and make the living that I know that I can make a living by, I was going to have to fly. You know, we've experienced some some rough flights together, and I tell you, it takes me a couple hours to recuperate. It's very difficult for me if we're flying the same day we're playing, because if we have a tough flight, then it takes me some time to get myself together, and it does affect me to a certain extent.
Now let's get into one or two more things. Sickle cell anemia. You've become involved with that. Ernie Banks, I know, the great Chicago Cub likewise. What brought about your involvement with sickle cell anemia, Willie?
Well, from my first marriage, I have a daughter in California that was having fainting spells, and a lot of tests was ran on her, and the tests revealed that she had the traits of sickle cell anemia. And at that time, I was told that little or nothing had been done, and athletes could play a big part in trying to do something about sickle cell. And myself, along with so many others, gave her their time and energies so that they could try and do something about it. And now we're happy to say that sickle cell is a household word.
And so this has been a most interesting chat with Wilbur Darnell Stargell, a young man that could have gone to the wrong side of the tracks, elected instead to go on the other side. And with his booming home run bat and the things he wants to do to help his own people and the people of the world, he's just been magnificent in all regards. Thank you, Willie. Continued good success.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
See y'all.